Hi friends, Kelsey here. Welcome to my cozy little corner of the world. I want to talk to you a little bit today about vulnerability and how it's been showing up for me in my life recently. So, some of you may or may not know that I am currently 7 months pregnant in my third trimester. Yeah, here we are, baby bump right there. And this is my first time being pregnant, my first time becoming a mom, and it has been a very interesting and sometimes really raw experience that has brought about a sense of incredible vulnerability at times. And I thought I would just jump on today and share a bit about how I'm navigating this particular chapter of life. So I thought pregnancy would mostly just challenge my body. I had no idea how much it would challenge my relationship with vulnerability. One thing nobody prepared me for was how emotionally exposed pregnancy has felt. I have literally never cried so much in my entire life. I've cried happy tears, overwhelmed tears, grateful tears, sad tears. I've cried because something really beautiful and touching happened, and I have cried because nothing has happened. I have cried because someone was just really genuinely nice to me. Yeah. It feels like overall pregnancy has just turned up the volume of every aspect of being human. And maybe the thing that surprised me most, though, is how open my heart feels. I have never felt this level of open heartedness. And I will just say that I'm a pretty open hearted person. As a therapist, you have to be. And so for me to be saying this is saying something. I've also never felt the weirdly magical experience of having two heartbeats inside my one body. Sometimes it feels like a superpower, and then other times it feels like, whoa, this is the most incredibly vulnerable thing I have ever done in my entire life. Because when your heart opens wider, everything comes in a lot louder. Joy, fear, love, grief, excitement, uncertainty, all of it. There's also been moments where I've looked in the mirror and parts of me genuinely don't recognize the person looking back at me. I'm like, who is that? Is that me? Me? That's me? And then there are parts of me that are feeling incredibly grateful. There's parts of me that are judging and calculating. Am I eating too much? Am I moving enough? Am I gaining too much weight too fast? Am I doing pregnancy wrong somehow? And what has been very confronting is realizing how much my sense of identity has quietly lived inside my ability to control my body. Apparently, my emotional regulation strategy was just having a predictable pant size, which I know sounds completely ridiculous when I say it out loud. And it has also felt really deeply true. Because it's not actually about my pant size. It's about control and about identity and how deeply so many women are taught, whether directly or indirectly, that our bodies determine our worth. And pregnancy has forced me to confront just how freaking deep that conditioning has lived inside me. There have genuinely been moments where I have looked in the mirror and felt so incredibly grateful for this baby. So happy. And simultaneously felt absolutely disgusted with myself. And that inner conflict has been really hard to admit at times, because part of me wonders, well, how can you feel both? But I do. That's what's real for me. I can feel overwhelmed with gratitude and still grieve parts of my old body. I can love this baby deeply and still struggle with what's happening to my identity. I can also see the dysfunction within the previous identity and how it came to be, yet still feel deeply influenced by its desire to protect me. I can know logically that my body is doing some freaking incredible things, and still hear another part of me asking, but are you becoming undesirable? Are you losing yourself somehow? And maybe that's part of vulnerability too. It's not becoming some perfectly evolved person, but instead just becoming honest about what is actually happening internally. As a therapist, I think people often imagine growth as this empowering experience they'll feel once they achieve some growth. But sometimes growth feels incredibly vulnerable. Sometimes becoming something new asks us to loosen our grip with old ways of protecting ourselves. And pregnancy has absolutely asked that from me. It's guided me towards trusting more, towards needing more support, letting people help me, which has been really hard at times. It's guiding me towards allowing uncertainty and allowing my body to have its own experience without me constantly asking it to justify itself. Which is really difficult for someone whose nervous system would personally love a 5-step plan for uncertainty and how to be able to do it all on her own without needing anyone else to fall back on. Yeah. Something else I didn't necessarily expect was experiencing loneliness. And that's not because I'm unsupported. My husband and I are actually stronger than we ever have been. We're deeply in love, and he has been incredibly supportive throughout all of this, as have been my family and friends. But becoming a mother started inside of my body. And sometimes I have felt really alone in the intensity of how connected I already feel to this little person. How much my body and brain have already transformed. How excited I already am. And so I've realized that sometimes people can deeply love each other and still experience the same season of life very differently. And then there's grief, too. Grief of the quiet mornings, sleeping in, freedom, simplicity. Versions of life that I know will not be coming with me into motherhood. And somehow there's still excitement right behind that grief because I get to be someone's mom. I get to support this life. I get to love someone so deeply, and that feels profoundly sacred. I thought becoming a mom would mostly teach me how to care for another human. I did not realize it would also teach me to care for myself more gently. If you're inside a season where life feels beautiful and hard and emotional and uncertain, maybe chaotic, but deeply meaningful all at the same time, you might not be doing it wrong. You might just be becoming someone new. I'd be really curious. What's something for you that you've been feeling vulnerable around, or some sort of big change that is maybe activating some similar feelings? Please feel free to share in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, I'm just so glad that you're here. Feel free to take anything that may resonate, leave the rest, but do take care of yourself. And I will see you in the next one.